Chairwoman and members of the subcommittee, I appreciate the opportunity to present to you information and views of the impact of immigration reform on the lives of current and future South Asian immigrants in the United States, and I commend you and your extremely helpful staff for conducting these hearings with stakeholders. As an immigrant myself, who moved from India to the state of Kentucky at the age of 12 with my family, I am a direct beneficiary of the family-based and employment-based system in its good and bad aspects. I'm here representing SAALT, which is a national nonprofit organization in the DC metropolitan area. Our national advocacy work is informed by over 20 South Asian community-based organizations whom I'm honored to represent here. First, a little bit about the South Asian community. Over 2.5 million strong, our community is extremely diverse along the lines of national origin, religion, immigration, and economic status. South Asians trace our ancestries to the regions in the Asian subcontinent, which includes Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Between 1990 and 2000, South Asians were the fastest growing segments within the entire Asian American community. While the common perception is that all South Asians are well off, this is obviously not the case. Linguistic barriers and increasing rates of poverty are on the rise, and nearly 75% of the South Asian population is foreign-born. Historically, South Asians have faced obstacles to migration and naturalization due to national origin quotas. Immigration laws after 1965 relaxed these restrictions and gave rise to greater opportunities for family-based and employment-based immigration. After 1990, even more diverse populations arrived, including specialty occupation workers, working-class families, and asylum seekers. More recently, South Asians have been impacted by policies that criminalize immigrants, especially those that conflate national security with immigration in the wake of September 11th. Policies such as arbitrary detentions, special registration, and others target individuals based on national origin and religious affiliation and have especially affected South Asians of the Muslim faith. As a community, we have been and continue to be both positively and negatively impacted by immigration laws. I would like to provide some examples, but refer you to my fuller written testimony. First, the backlog. The family-based system is a cornerstone of South Asian immigration into the U.S. In 2005, over 30,000 South Asians were sponsored and admitted as immediate relatives. Yet South Asians wait extraordinarily long periods of time due to the backlog in order to be reunited with family members. 11 years for siblings, nearly 5 for children of green card holders in the U.S. This is the case for Sumati, a young software engineer in Boston who moved to the U.S. in 1999 and became a legal permanent resident. She married her physician husband in India in 2002 and applied to bring him over, but it is unlikely that his application will be processed for at least 5 years. Cases like Sumati's are just one of many, which is why we have grave concerns with provisions in the Senate bill that would eliminate family preference categories and set arbitrary cutoff dates for clearing the backlog that currently exists. Turning from family-based to employment-based immigration, in this context, both low-skilled and skilled workers of South Asian descent face challenges. In fact, many unskilled South Asian workers, janitors, cab drivers, and domestic workers who are part of America's immigrant backbone struggle with worker exploitation and have little chance for employment-based sponsorship opportunities. An example of such a predicament is one that we are monitoring in the Gulf Coast, where a company brought 300 South Asian nationals on temporary H-2B work visas to work as welders. After paying as much as $20,000 to receive their visas, the workers were promised refunds and paths to permanent residency status. However, once they arrived, all of these options disappeared. Without a temporary worker program that includes worker protections and paths to citizenship, safeguards that are missing for the most part in the Senate bill, workers such as the one in the Gulf Coast will continue to have few choices. In addition, skilled workers, especially those who are here on temporary H-1B visas, face unique sets of challenges as well. In 2005, over 100,000 individuals from South Asia entered America on H-1B visas. H-1B workers have concerns with the caps that are placed on these visas. In 2007, the cap was reached in just 1 day, and for long delays with green cards. In fact, 1 in 5 South Asians on employment-based visas is waiting to obtain a green card. While these concerns must be considered, we send a note of caution about proposals that would favor employment-based criteria such as jobs and education to the detriment of poor working-class people or those with family ties. And third, legalization of undocumented immigrants is also a concern to our community. Indians constituted the 4th largest and fastest growing undocumented population in America in 2005. jumping from 120,000 to 280,000, an increase of 133% in the 4 years prior. The quest for legal immigration status in the U.S. becomes all the more urgent for undocumented students, as well as for South Asian survivors of domestic violence who are undocumented or on dependent visas. Finally, I would like to mention that many South Asians are also experiencing unexplained security-related delays with background checks in their green card and naturalization applications. And again, we're seeing this trend especially affect individuals who are Muslim. It is clear then that South Asians have a stake in immigration reform. As you continue to discuss the House's version of an immigration reform bill, we hope that you will keep many of these concerns we have raised, especially with the Senate bill, in mind as we work towards fair and humane reform.